All right, what is going on, folks? Wrestling Otaku back here on the one and only Wrestling Otaku channel. Of course, your personification of excellence on YouTube and YWC. We're the best reviews wrestling and your three-time YWC channel of the year. And I'm back here. It is now officially Tuesday, March the 8th of 2025. Hope you all had a good weekend. We're, of course, coming off the heels of a really good, really solid AEW Dynasty pay-per-view, which you guys heard my thoughts. I gave my thoughts on it for the most part in the last video I did. And so we are now one day away, just 24 hours from the first show prior to, or I should say after, following the events of Dynasty, that being AEW Dynamite tomorrow night on Wednesday, April 9th, which happens to emanate from Baltimore, Maryland, the Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena. And if you don't already know by this point, you truly will be in attendance for that show. And I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait. Personally, I cannot wait to see what they got in store for that show, man. I'm going to have some fun. I'm telling you, I'm going to have some fun with that show. If you guys saw the video I did 2 videos ago, I was talking about it. But anyway, I want to make this video because I want to talk about, once again, the discourse in the community. The IWC is up in arms, mainly because, again, this whole dynasty, AEW and this, that, and the third, and, people, these anti-AEW dickwads, these WWE loyalists, these bots, basically, have to take the social media and have to take a good thing, anytime AEW has a pay-per-view or any sort of significant event, and just find a way to make it seem like it's the worst thing ever. They have to nitpick at, bullshit. They just have to fucking sit there and nitpick at things that AEW is doing bad because AEW is such a bad company. It's so evil. Tony Khan is such a bad booker. He's such an evil, AEW is such an evil promotion. We have to fucking get out the torch and pitchforks, and we have to sit here and obsessively just go at it for whatever reason. Just trying to find any way to hate on the promotion. And the latest bit of bullshit, the latest bit of, stuff that these people are bitching and moaning about on social media is, of course, the finish of the main event of AEW Dynasty, where Jon Moxley retained against Swerve Strickland. Of course, that was the match where the Young Bucks came back. They returned for the first time since last year. They returned to the main event. After the lights went out, the lights came back on. They hit Swerve with the BTE trigger, or the EVP trigger, and they essentially cost Swerve Strickland the match. Jon Moxley retains the title, and the show goes off with the Young Bucks smiling and smirking, and Swerve is, beside himself. And, again, Moxley and the Death Riders triumph once again. And so, yeah. And so, ever since then, people have been all over social media talking about how bad the show was, how bad the finish was to the match. Oh my God, it's a terrible finish. Oh my God, this finish sucked. Tony Khan is the worst fucking booker ever. AEW is garbage. Da 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 da. Oh my God, Swerve should have fucking won, and da 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 da, and all that fucking stupid shit. And it's fun. It's just crazy to me how some of these people claim to be wrestling fans. Some of them even claim to be AEW fans. Yet the result of the finish of one match just overshadows how good that pay-per-view was. Like they sit there and let the finish of one match, or one match result that they didn't like, overshadow the vast majority of that pay-per-view, which was pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. And granted, the first hour of the show I missed because, again, I had work, but I did catch a good majority of the matches that we saw on the main card, and the main card was stacked, dude. This pay-per-view was, well, not as good as Revolution from the previous month, but it was still very good. This was a very good pay-per-view. On paper, this was a solid show. There wasn't a whole lot to dislike about this show. A lot of people are saying that the AEW World Tag Title match with the Hurt Syndicate versus the Learning Tree, Big Bill and Brian Keefe, was the worst match. I didn't see it, so I really can't say for sure. I'd have to go back and watch. But it was not a bad show, and the main event was not a bad match. Just because you didn't like the finish, just because you didn't like the way the show ended, that doesn't make it a bad show. It was folks, if you don't like the finish, if you don't like the fact that Moxley retained and the Bucks returned and cost Swerve the match and this, that, and the third, that is your opinion. I get it. Wrestling is subjective. I understand that. But for you to sit here and say, fuck AEW, the show sucks, it's garbage, AEW is garbage, and this, that, and the third, and just trashing and bad-mouthing the promotion and Tony Khan because you didn't like the finish of one match of a main event, I'm sorry, you don't have your priorities straight, quite frankly. Because as much as you dislike, as much as people think that was a bad decision, or this, that, and the third, and didn't like how the show ended, it is furthering a storyline. You have to understand that. And I just find it funny, again, how people sit there and poke at and nitpick at one thing that AEW does, quote unquote, bad that they don't like. Yet WWE does tons of shit bad over the years, and they get a free pass. You know, they consistently get a free pass. And I'm going to bring it up here again. These are the same motherfuckers, the ones complaining about the finish of this Moxley-Swerve match and the finish and Jon Moxley retaining the title. The same ones complaining about this and complaining about this Death Rider storyline and how long Moxley's been champion. You were the same motherfuckers who were just fine with Roman Reigns holding on to the title for fucking 3 years. With this bloodline shit. You were fine with that. You were fine with a man holding on to a world's title for 3 fucking consecutive years. But Jon Moxley holds on to a title for 6 months, and the Death Riders are a thing for a half a year. Oh no, this is bad, this is so bad, it needs to end, blah, 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 and you fucking get all up in your feelings and shit. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, dude. Just seeing these people just bitch and moan and complain on social media like petulant children over the finish of a match. The finish of a main event of a match, which was not even that bad. The Moxley-Swerve match was not bad. It was actually a pretty damn good match. Was it the best match on the card? No. That distinction goes to the Kenny Omega, Ricochet, Speedball Mike Bailey three-way match for the international title. That came right long before it. That was a match of the night. That was a match of your candidate. As are most of Kenny Omega's matches this year have been. But it was a top 3. The main event was a top 3 match. Swerve and Moxley fucking put on a banger of a match. But it was overshadowed, according to everybody else, by the finish with the Young Bucks returning and costing Swerve the match. And that's why everybody's shitting on it. And it's fucking it's a damn shame. And one of the biggest examples of this, one of the biggest examples of people just fucking going apeshit and just losing, just one of the biggest examples of just ridiculous hate that this finish is getting. Just one of the biggest examples here in the IWC, at least, are, of course, 2 of the big figures or the big names in the community, that being JD, good old JD from NY206, and Solomonster, and their reactions following the finish of this match and the end of the show. These 2 guys who are supposed to be, 2 of the more well-known, more respected, quote-unquote, and objective podcasters. These 2 old-ass fucking dudes, both of them older than me, both of them the wrestling fans longer than me, and shit. And, they talk all the time about, I was watching wrestling when it was, in the 80s and blah, 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 when Hogan was around, when Hogan, it was Hulkamania and blah, blah, blah. And they would talk they would have all these stories about how wrestling used to be back in the 80s and the early 90s and shit. And these 2 old-ass fucking dudes are sitting on social media complaining like petulant fucking children, talking about, fuck AEW, this shit sucks, fuck this company, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me with this shit? Now, JD, I fully expect him to act like a petulant child when it comes to this promotion. That's all this dude has been doing for years. That's all this dude has been doing for years, is finding ways to shit-talk AEW. And to take shots at AEW every chance he gets, because that's basically what his thing is now. He's not a fucking fan. He's a guy who goes on and shit talks a company because it's the cool thing to do, and he knows he can get fucking views out of it because they're assholes in this fucking community who cape for that kind of shit, who look for that shit because there's an audience for it. Oh, let me talk shit about AEW so I can get some fucking cheap views and attention to my fucking channel. That's what JD is about now. The only reason that dude watches AEW to this point is to shit on it. That's the only reason. He's not fucking giving an objective fucking opinion. He's sitting there at literally every turn, every chance he gets. This fucking guy shit talks AEW. And it's like I told him fucking many times before. If you have such a problem with the damn promotion, stop watching it, dude. Stop covering it. Just like, he used to cover TNA, and then he started talking shit about TNA and stopped covering it because nobody watches TNA, right? Yeah. And you should do the same thing with AEW. If you had that big of a fuck, if what AEW does bothers you that goddamn much, stop fucking watching them. Stop covering them. It's as simple as that. It's not hard. But of course he's not going to do that because he gets fucking cheap views and cheap clicks from the AEW haters on fucking social media, because there's a fucking big ass cult of people who hate on this promotion on a regular basis. And then Solomonster, who I've kind of seen, like, little by little, I'm seeing more and more he's becoming kind of that guy too. I expect this shit from JD, to act like a petulant child the way he did with his, reactions on social media and shit. But I expected better from Solomonster, but, he's basically reacting in the same vein as JD. And I get basically those 2 guys do podcasts, they do shows together. They're both commentators in that House of Glory promotion or whatever. And honestly, some of JD's petulance, some of JD's pettiness and his just douchebaggery is honestly rubbing off on Solomonster, and I'm noticing this. And his just hatred, his Just unnecessary hatred for AEW and his just obvious bias against AEW is starting to rub off on Solomonster, because I'm starting to get that vibe from Solomonster too every time he talks about AEW. He just has to find some kind of way to shit on it. He has to find some kind of way, just find anything that he can to nitpick and talk shit about the promotion. It's just like, it's fucking ridiculous, dude. These two old ass fucking men who are supposed to be respected, respected fucking podcasters, big time, the more well-known IWC content creators, and they're fucking bitching and moaning about the finish of a damn match. It's like, about the finish of a match on a wrestling show. It's like, you guys ought to be fucking ashamed of yourselves. Sitting out there talking, fuck AEW, this show sucks, fuck this company, blah, blah, blah. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. You would think that these dudes would be in their fucking teens or some shit. These guys are 40 in their fucking 40s, and they're acting like this. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, that has got to be embarrassing, dude. But, and it's like I said before, like, AEW, like, this is the shit that they got to deal with. This is the shit that AEW fans, like myself, have to deal with on a regular basis. People like this. And it's fucking ridiculous. You're sitting here getting all up in your feelings, getting butthurt about the finish of one match on one show. And the finish, because there was a finish, because a match ended, in a way you didn't like, because you had a finish that you didn't like, because somebody went over that you didn't like, it's fuck this company, right? But WWE can do all this bullshit for years, and they get a free pass. Oh, WWE's this, so WWE's that, and it's fucking all that, fucking blowing smoke up WWE's ass. Like they have been doing, especially now that it's WrestleMania season. WrestleMania's in another, couple weeks. Which, by the way, I'm going to give my thoughts on the WrestleMania build. I personally think the WrestleMania build is lackluster, and I'll give my reasons why. That'll be a future video, and I'm sure people will, find ways to bitch and, poke, just try to talk shit in regards to my thoughts on the WrestleMania build going into WrestleMania 41. Again, that's going to be a future video, but it's just like the WrestleMania build has been far from perfect. Whether it's the Cody Rhodes, John Cena stuff, or any of these other things. I'm going to wait until I actually do that video to kind of delve more into my issues with the WrestleMania build. But that's just fine. They get a pass because it's WrestleMania season, because we have to fucking gloss over and fucking overhype WrestleMania. Yet, AEW does one thing that people don't like, and it's fuck AEW. AEW sucks. Fuck this company. It's that fucking double standard. And situations like this just go to show you how much of a fucking double standard there is in fucking pro wrestling when it comes to these two companies. You got motherfuckers in WWE constantly, and I mean constantly, just this past week alone, constantly taking shots at AEW, taking indirect jabs at AEW, right? On TV, publicly. But AEW talent does one thing. They make one reference to a WWE talent or WWE in general. They fucking, oh my God, see, the WWE lives rent-free in their heads. Oh my God, that guy's fucking, the WWE lives rent-free in AEW's heads, but all that stupid shit. And it's like, the double standard. It's that double standard shit. I can't stand that shit, dude. It's ridiculous. And this Jon Moxley-Swerve Strickland main event world title match with the finish is more of the fucking same shit, Okay, if you don't like the finish, if you don't like the way the match ended, if you have a problem with the Young Bucks, if you have a problem with Jon Moxley retaining the title or whatever, it's your opinion. But don't sit up here and shit talk an entire fucking company, an entire fucking pay-per-view that was generally pretty damn good, just because of the finish and the result of one match in the main event that you didn't like. Like that somehow overshadows all the fucking good shit that we saw on that show the other night. It's just ridiculous, dude. The amount of overreaction, the amount of unnecessary hate that this company gets is fucking astonishing. And you got guys like JD and fucking Solomonster, two big podcasters who are a large part of the fucking negativity that this company gets. And it's a goddamn shame, dude. That's why people like me have to come out and basically say shit like this, and have to call shit like this out. Because if we don't, then all it is going to be, every time somebody looks up AEW, every time somebody talks about AEW on social media, it's all fucking bad shit. It's just completely overshadowing all the good, all the fucking positive, all the good that this company has done and has provided for us wrestling fans in the last 5-6 years since its creation. But there's a fucking agenda. There's a fucking agenda, and people are going to continue to push that agenda. It's a fucking crying shame. Okay, the Swerve Strickland John Moxley match was not bad. Just like the John Moxley Adam Copeland match, from the previous month, Revolution, in the main event of that match, or the main event of that show, that wasn't a bad match. It wasn't the best match on the show? Of course not. But it was an old school, slow, methodical, meticulous, heel over babyface, old school real world title main event match. That's what it was. It was not a bad match. And Swerve and Moxley was not a bad match. That was actually a banger. Moxley and Swerve went at it for 20 plus minutes. You saw fucking the ladder being introduced. You saw fucking Swerve stomp onto the announce table, chairs introduced and all kinds of stuff. And it was not a bad match. But all people are talking about when it comes to that is the fucking finish. Because they don't like the finish. They don't like that John Moxley retained. They don't like that the Young Bucks return and cost Swerve the match. I personally think this is an added wrinkle to this storyline. Because now the question is, were the Young Bucks behind the Death Riders all along? And I hope we find out very soon. And people don't understand. Dumbasses like JD and Solomonster don't seem to understand with what happened with the main event. It's fucking continuing a storyline. These fucking guys have been wrestling fans all this time. Yet they're too short-sighted to realize that the reason why the match finished the way that it did, the Young Bucks coming out, costing Swerve the title, and all that other stuff with Hangman and the Death Riders and everybody, and the Ops who came out later, and stuff like that, this is all to further a storyline. This is all part of the storyline. Okay? Like, what part of that don't you get? Just like throughout the show, most of the show was made to promote. Obviously, you had Owen Hart Cup Foundation matches. We had some title changes. And what happened in the main event? This is all the further stuff we're going to see down the line. Going into May, going to Double Nothing, and later All In July. But these motherfuckers don't understand that. Because they want to sit here and nitpick and bitch and moan about one thing that they didn't fucking like. And it's a goddamn shame. That's the community, unfortunately. This is the nature of the community we're in now. It's a fucking crying shame. WWE gets a free pass for bullshit, but AEW does one thing, and they're the worst promotion ever, right? Fuck out of here, man. Anyway, that's pretty much all I gotta say for that. So, JD and Solomonster, they made really complete asses out of themselves. Not surprising. And it's a damn shame, AEW, the pay-per-view Dynasty was not bad. The main event was not bad. Get over yourselves. It's a fucking storyline. It's not that the world's not going to end because John Moxley retained. The world's not going to end because the Young Bucks came back and cost Swerve the match. Okay? We're all going to see what happens on Wednesday tomorrow night in Baltimore. So cool your fucking jets. And for you to say fuck this company and this, that, and the third, just goes to show you how petulant and how... If you're honestly of that mentality after that finish, that honestly goes to show you weren't really much of a fan to begin with. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. And again, if you have such a problem with what AEW is doing, whether it's JD, Solomonster, or anybody, if you have such a problem with the company and what they're doing and how they book matches and what they do, don't fucking watch. Stop watching. Stop covering them. It's as simple as that. Stick to this WWE bullshit and their fucking WrestleMania bullshit fucking lackluster build. Do that. And leave the AEW talk to the actual fans of it. That's all I gotta say for that. Anyway, that's all. That's pretty much all I want to say. I got all that off my chest. So thanks for watching. Look forward to tomorrow night. Can't wait. I'm gonna have some videos, take some pictures, all kinds of stuff, and you'll be seeing that. And I'm kind of gonna do a whole montage. I'm gonna stitch all the. I may decide to either stitch all the picture, the images, or not images, but the clips and stuff that I decide to record when I do go to the show tomorrow. I'm going to, record some stuff. I may either upload it individually or I'll just stitch it all together and give my full experience at the AEW show and stuff. And you'll be seeing that here on the channel. It's going to be good. I can't wait. It's going to be good content for the channel. Can't wait to see what they do. Can't wait to see what all they got in store for Baltimore on Wednesday. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say for this video. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate all the support you get. And that being said, I'm going to close out this video now. So thanks for watching. Till next time, Rusty Otaku, I'm out for now. See you guys later. See you tomorrow night. And peace.